Ike is a magician in the demon army, renowned for his extreme strength and skills, which have earned him the rank of commander. In this war-torn world, he leads his troops on the battlefield, strategizing how to conquer the impregnable fort of Arsenal. On the battlefield, humans and monsters slaughter each other by the thousands, each race striving for supremacy. Ike stands on a cliff, witnessing the massacre below. After a prolonged struggle, his forces manage to breach the main gate of the castle and enter, but the humans do not retreat. They fight valiantly, sacrificing their lives to defend their stronghold. The human Lord Commander watches from his window, safely inside the castle, as the battle rages on. Ike decides to pay him a visit, unwilling to see more lives lost. The commander turns and immediately recognizes Ike, whose tales are well known. Ike confirms his identity as the leader of the 7th Legion of the Demon King Army, known as the Immortal Brigade. He presents the commander with 3 options for the future: surrender peacefully and become a prisoner of war, end his own life to preserve his honor, or, if he has no honor, escape through the window. The commander smirks and rejects all options given by someone he considers a traitor to his own race. He charges at Ike with his sword, but Ike easily knocks him out with a simple swipe of his wand. Suddenly, Ike's personal assistant, a pig, appears and asks what should be done with the prisoners of war. Ike instructs him to heal the commander and anyone who surrenders without a fight, shocking both the pig and a mysteriously attractive woman who observes him through a crystal ball. She seems impressed by his ability to capture such an important castle with a single brigade. Afterward, Ike places a magical barrier around the entire area to prevent further entry onto the battlefield. He looks out to see countless human casualties and demons treating the wounded. He feels sorrow for the atrocities unfolding before him and has always despised the brutality of war. However, he has no choice but to continue fighting, a role he has become accustomed to despite not being a demon himself, but a human wearing a demon mask. It is revealed that Ike was abandoned at birth but was taken in by a demon magician named Ram on a whim. Ram was an exceptional magician and an outstanding teacher who always dreamed of a time when humans and demons could coexist peacefully. He taught Ike everything he knew about magic. On his deathbed, Ram called Ike to his chamber and urged him to always wear the mask and robe, warning that if the Demon King discovered he was not a demon, he would be tortured and killed immediately. Ike sits down to relax, having cast a magic field around the room to prevent anyone from entering without his permission. Suddenly, he notices a trembling maid hiding under the table. She starts apologizing and crying, claiming she didn't see anything. In her panic, she hits her head on the table and gets knocked out. Ike ponders how to handle this situation, but decides to think about it later as his assistant, Pig, calls him outside. As they walk through the streets, witnessing the devastation caused by the war, Piggy asks Ike why he spares so many humans. Ike curtly replies that the current Demon King only cares about the results, not the methods. Piggy counters that many demons think Ike is too lenient on humans and suggests that it would be better to kill all the residents and set the streets on fire. Ike rejects this idea, explaining that they need humans to pay taxes because war is expensive. Additionally, Arsenal is a trade city, so humans are necessary to maintain its operations. Piggy struggles to understand this logic when Ike suddenly stops as a group of humans approaches him. Piggy immediately warns them to leave, but Ike tells them to speak. One of the residents nervously asks how much more tax they will have to pay the demon army. To their surprise, Ike assures them that the taxes will remain the same as before, which makes them happy. However, he warns them that any opposition to the army will be met with punishment. As Ike finishes speaking, he suddenly disappears in a bright light, leaving Piggy astonished. Ike himself is shocked as he finds himself in a dark dungeon, immediately under attack by a giant monster. Dodging the initial blow, he runs while shouting at the mysterious woman, chastising her for summoning him in such a manner. The demon continues its relentless assault, forcing Ike to pull a wand from his robe. He unleashes a special magic attack, dispatching the demon, though the details of the attack remain unseen due to poor lighting. Immediately, the woman appears beside him, remarking that Ike was just a child hiding behind Ram the last time she saw him. She comments on the strength of the golem, indicating Ike's significant growth in power. The woman, named Sephiroth, is Ike's superior, and the only demon aware of his true identity. He reprimands her for summoning him so abruptly, but she responds that it's more entertaining this way. When he asks if he's there to report on the war efforts, she dismisses it, noting that she witnessed his flawless execution firsthand. Sephiroth reveals that the Demon King herself wishes to meet Ike. This surprises him, as a mere brigade leader usually wouldn't warrant such attention. When he questions the reason, Sephiroth speculates that the Demon King might be interested in how he managed to capture Arsenal in just a week. She tells him to prepare, then teleports them to the Demon King's castle. Seeing the castle for the first time, Ike is taken aback by its grandeur. As they approach the main gate, guarded by numerous demons. He asks Sephiroth if he will be searched before entering. She affirms that everyone is checked, as the Demon King is the most important person in their world. This makes Ike nervous, fearing that his true identity might be revealed. However, Sephiroth reassures him. Surprisingly, the guards, overwhelmed by Ike's magical aura, step aside, acknowledging him as the grandson of the great magician Ram. They enter the castle's hallway, with Sephiroth flying beside Ike. He reflects on his own flying skills, acknowledging that he isn't as proficient as her. They reach the entrance to the courtroom, where Sephiroth instructs him to wait while she announces his arrival. Left alone, Ike contemplates the current Demon King, Darrow, known for his competence and ruthlessness. He recalls how Darrow turned the tide of the war in a single battle, being merciless to the incompetent but rewarding talent and competence regardless of rank or background. Sephiroth soon returns, calling Ike inside. Entering the courtroom with his head bowed, Ike is stunned to see a girl seated on the throne. Assuming she must be the Demon King's daughter, he quickly realizes his mistake and bows deeply. The girl, who is indeed the Demon King, praises Ike for capturing Arsenal in just a week. Ike humbly responds, attributing his success to following Sephiroth's orders. Darrow comments on how Ike's humility is reminiscent of a human's, making him realize he needs to adjust his demeanor. Thankfully, Sephiroth intervenes, explaining that Ike is the grandson of Ram, which seems to appease the Demon King. Dai smiles and comments that she can see where Ike gets his battle tactics from, but continues to ask why he is so insistent on ensuring that humans do not die unnecessarily. Ike immediately worries, thinking that perhaps he should have executed a few of them to avoid suspicion, but realizes he cannot bring himself to kill innocent people. He decides to speak up and explains that while humans are terrified of demons, terror does not foster loyalty or efficiency. He asserts that humans will follow a ruler who is competent and can improve their situation regardless of who that ruler is. The Demon King seems impressed by his perspective and instantly teleports in front of him, remarking that he truly is different from other demons. She expresses a desire to see the real face behind his mask before leaving the court. Overwhelmed with relief, Ike falls to the ground, breathing deeply, and tells Seth that such frightening experiences are not good for his heart. Seth encourages him, revealing that Dai has decided to reward him by making him the ruler of the city of Arsenal. Ike is then teleported back to the castle in Arsenal, where he finds the maid sleeping on his chair. Startled, she jumps up and begins apologizing. Ike reassures her that he will not harm her and asks for her name. She identifies herself as 13, explaining that all slaves are given numbers instead of names. She mentions that her real name was Sadie before she became a slave, and Ike decides to call her Sadie. He tells her that since she has already seen his true identity, he cannot let her go free. She leaps onto him, crying, but he calms her down and assures her that he will not kill her. Instead, he tells her that she will be his personal maid from now on, and she immediately agrees. Later that day, Ike surveys the damage done to the city and realizes that the defenses need to be rebuilt quickly, as the city will fall if the humans decide to attack. He asks Piggy how long it will take to rebuild the defense, and Piggy estimates 6 months if they use all the human labor. Ike, knowing this is too long, tells Piggy they have only 1 month to complete the work. Piggy claims this is impossible, but Ike lays out a plan that involves both humans and demons working together. Piggy, astonished, watches as Ike organizes shifts to ensure work is done around the clock. The workers are even given rewards for their efforts, which motivates them to work harder. Piggy realizes that Ike is a true genius, bringing tears of joy to his eyes. He starts to think about how everyone would benefit if Ike became the next Demon King. Next, we witness another army of the Demon King's army launching an assault on Rosaria. They are met with retaliation from human mages, but despite their efforts, the demons manage to break through the city walls. Meanwhile, we see that the guard informs the Demon Lord that the war with Rosaria is going well for the moment, but it seems they're forming an alliance with their neighbors to turn the tide of the war. The Demon Lord states that humans come together in the face of danger, and that she will let Ike handle the matters. The scene then changes to Sadie as she offers tea to Ike and asks if he is tired. Ike firmly replies that he is fine. We then see a high-ranking noble summon the White Rose Knights commander, Alistair, and order her to retake Avelius, as they can't let the other nations continue to take advantage of them. Alistair dons her armor and moves out. The scene shifts to the streets of Rosaria, where a conman sets up a simple game. He challenges passersby to guess where the ball ends up under the cups, promising to double their money if they win. Among the crowd, Sadie is there, and she picks one of the cups. The conman asks how much she will bet, but Sadie says she doesn't have any money. The conman gets angry and asks her to leave, but after seeing her appearance, he lets her pick. As he is about to lift the cup, a gust of wind suddenly lifts all the cups, revealing that they are empty and the ball is nowhere to be found. The crowd gets angry at the conman for cheating and gives him his due punishment. Ike scolds Sadie for abandoning him, and she apologizes, explaining that she was distracted by the new sights. Noticing his outfit, she is shocked, and Ike explains that he needs to wear something inconspicuous to scout the enemy. They pick up some fruit to eat. After a while, Ike, looking serious, says the Alliance of King's story is true, noting the rushing soldiers. Sadie, curious and puzzled, asks about the Alliance. Ike explains it's an ancient pact where countries unite in danger, having defeated the Demon Lord's army 3 times and pushing them back to Doberberg Castle. Sadie, worried, asks if it will happen again. Ike asks why she's worried since she's human and would be free if the Demon Lord's army retreated. Sadie, looking sad and resigned, explains that in human society, a slave's child remains a slave, fearing she'll be abandoned and end up like other enslaved children. Ike reassures her that the current Demon Lord is the strongest and wisest in history. Ike realizes both demons and humans have many problems and wonders how he can change that. Ike wants to further investigate why the soldiers are rushing around like that, so he asks his maid to follow as he continues his investigation. However, they are suddenly told to halt by the conman. The conman demands compensation from them, either in the form of money or with Sadie's body, and this time he has brought his big boy to ensure he doesn't end up like last time. Ike looks around and realizes that there is no one, and he freezes the big guy's legs. He then uses magic to create an ice spear and strikes the conman, which makes the conman agree to cooperate with him. Ike then asks him what the army in this town is doing, as the soldiers seem to be in quite a hurry. The conman explains that they've formed an alliance of kings to fight the demons. Ike asks if that's all he knows. The conman tells him that Rosaria's army is eager to land a blow on the Demon Lord's army before the alliance does. Ike realizes they want to win glory for their own nation before the alliance is fully formed, which will put them at an advantage during their strategy councils and increase their influence after the war. Of course, if they fail, it will put Rosaria in an awful position. He then asks the conman where they will attack. The conman says there's only one place, Evalia's, as its gate is a mess and it's poorly defended. After getting his information, Ike walks away, leaving the crooks in that state as they beg to be released. Ike returns to the office to find Lilith waiting impatiently. She complains that she couldn't find him anywhere and gets visibly jealous seeing Sadie with him, demanding to know who she is. Sadie introduces herself as Ike's maid. Lilith insults Sadie, calling her ugly, and boldly offers to become Ike's maid while hugging him. Sadie controls her anger and politely asks the demon to leave, explaining that Ike is tired. Their argument escalates into a tense standoff that even Jair, the pig, avoids getting involved in, fearing repercussions. Meanwhile, outside of Alias, the White Rose Knights prepare for their attack. Some knights are on edge due to the eerie quietness of the area. Their instincts prove right when demons launch a surprise attack just as Commander Alistair is about to give the signal to fire rocks. The humans are quickly overwhelmed, and Alistair orders a retreat. Ike watches from the safety of the city wall, and Jairn praises Alistair for her decision to retreat. The pig commends Ike for predicting the attack, thanks to his excellent intelligence gathering. Ike tries to downplay his achievement, but suddenly an assassin shoots an arrow into his back, causing him to collapse. News of the White Rose Knight's defeat reaches a high-ranking noble who shows no tolerance for failure and orders Alistair's imprisonment. Despite objections that she's one of their best generals and it will affect morale, the noble insists she take responsibility for the failure or face consequences before their king. Meanwhile, Ike regains consciousness and finds himself bandaged up, surprised to see Sephiroth beside him. She explains she saved his life and healed him completely, leaving no scar from the arrow. He thanks her, but she worries about the implications of no human casualties, fearing it may arouse suspicion from the Demon Lord. Ike shares his goal of fostering coexistence between humans and demons, but Sephiroth warns that achieving peace is difficult amidst ongoing conflict. She advises him to rest, then disappears. Examining the arrow, Ike wonders if someone infiltrated the castle to attack him. Before he can contemplate further, Lilith bursts into the room, overjoyed to find him safe, and hugs him tightly. She expresses concern for his safety and asks about the attack. Ike tries to reassure her, but changes the subject to finding Alistair's location. After learning where Alistair is imprisoned, Ike heads to the prison. Lilith accompanies him, commenting on the intimidating appearance of the prison and insisting she doesn't want him going alone into danger. Ike, annoyed but accepting her presence, arrives at the poorly guarded prison. Their goal is to infiltrate quietly, but before Ike can finish speaking, Lilith knocks out the guards. They proceed inside, and Lilith swiftly obtains keys and Alistair's location from another guard. When guards approach, she volunteers to deal with them while Ike searches for Alistair's cell. Inside, Ike discovers Alistair's absence, but is surprised when she ambushes him from behind a door. They engage briefly, and Ike disarms her, backing off when he realizes she's a woman. Alistair questions Ike, suspicious of his motives and whether he's truly human, particularly wondering if he sent an assassin after their last battle. Their conversation is cut short as more guards arrive. Alistair holds Ike at knife point, demanding answers about his identity and intentions. This brings an end to our episode 2. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to not miss the next part.